Never wait. Tell that person how you're proud of them. Tell them about a time where they made you feel great, even though they might not even remember the story. Speak life into people. You might be their only reminder that there's still good stuff in this world to look forward to. Because most of the time, we don't remember what somebody did for us, but we will always remember how they made us feel. And at the end of the day, we are only as beautiful as the words that we speak. Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to my channel. I'm in the best mood this morning because the sun is out after hiding for God knows how long. Too long, I think, but she's back now. She's bright, she's warm, and she's scorching my eyes out exactly how I like it. In today's video, we are talking about becoming a more beautiful human being. Now, why do I say more beautiful? Well, because we are already beautiful by nature, by default, by just existing. But I always think that there's something or multiple things that we can do to take it up a notch. None of the things that I'm going to list involve our physical appearance. I think that while we can, on a human, down to earth level, find somebody attractive because of our external, I believe that beauty comes from within, as cheesy and corny and cliche as that sounds. I think beauty is more accurately determined when we are basing it off of energy and personality and kind of just how you make other people feel, because it's very real. I mean, when we start seeing people as energies instead of bodies, that's when you really find out who the beautiful people are. If you really think about it, the most beautiful people that we found in our life, I don't think entirely revolves around the way that they look. Sometimes they do have things that to society might be deemed as imperfect or a flaw, but even then we still find them to be one of the most beautiful people we've ever met. And it's simply because of the way that they carry themselves and the energy that they hold and the words that they speak. And so I like to base beauty off of those kinds of things because I think it's more accurately measured. And that way, beauty becomes more broad. Because if we just base it off of what we look like on the outside, I think it limits beauty to a certain degree. And I don't think beauty is limited. I think there's beauty in every single crevice of this universe. And on top of that, beauty is subjective. So what you might not find beautiful, somebody else might find absolutely astonishing. Okay, I'm not gonna bore you anymore with this intro. I think you understand where I'm coming from. We're gonna start off with number one being treat everyone as if you are in love with them. I used to know this girl who I just thought she was my friend, but I thought she was just one of the most beautiful people I've ever met. And the reason I found her so beautiful is because she made me feel so attended to. It was her gaze was just so sweet and so warm. She looked at me like it was like every time the conversation turned back to me and it was my turn to speak about something that I was passionate about, she looked at me like I was giving a worldwide inspirational speech. Like, she would look at me like I was saying something that genuinely mattered. And it made me feel like I mattered. It wasn't just because of how she felt about me, it was because that was who she was. She looked at everyone with those eyes, and that's why she was so loved and adored, because she made everyone feel loved and adored. And it's almost like reassurance, almost like letting you know you're not boring and I actually like listening to you. That's what I felt whenever I was with her. I didn't feel like I was boring. I didn't feel like I was talking too much. It's wonderful. And so after that point, I aspired to make other people feel that way because it's such a great feeling and I want others to experience it as well. So I wanted to be the reason somebody felt the way I did. Ultimately, because of that personality trait, that not only did I fall in love with the way she made me feel, but also in love with her. I fell in love with her. And while she's not in my life anymore, I still think about her to this day whenever I think about beauty and how beauty is solely based off of how kind you treat others and the kind words that you speak. And I just remember her. I think back to her because she gave me a real example I can go by. And I love it. Moving on to the next step is treat every experience like a personal love letter from the universe, because it is. Your warm coffee in the morning, hearing the rain trinkle on your windowsill, the smell of a summer morning. It's all just so romantic. Compliments from strangers. I hear a lot of people say that if you want happiness in your life, you need to look for it in the smallest of areas or in the smallest of tasks, but I don't actually see it that way. I don't think you need to find happiness because I think happiness is just sitting around in plain sight. I think what we actually need to do is allow ourselves to see it. Beauty, love, and happiness, they aren't hiding. They aren't hoping to not be discovered by us humans. I just think that we are the ones blinded. I don't believe they're hiding from us because when we step out of here for a second and we go out into the world, why is it so easy to spot them out then? Because they're in plain sight. They're just waiting for us to see it. Nothing out there has changed. Just because we're noticing it now doesn't mean it hasn't been there the whole time. It's hard to overcomplicate your life when you start to see the beauty in simplicity, when you start to see the beauty in things that you don't need to sweat for, or you don't need to work your ass off for. They're just there, waiting for you to accept them. And when you train your mind to see the beauty in simplicity, you aren't going to see conversations with strangers or compliments from strangers as meaningless words just being passed back and forth between the two of you. You're going to be seeing it as reminders of your existence. So, somebody else's kind words to you isn't just their perspective of you, but it's also confirmation of the energy that you're putting out being reflected back to you. Because we can't see ourselves from the outside, we can only give out and then assume that our energy is doing something good out there. And it's through life that we get reminders of it. I'm going to sort of piggyback off of my last point there about compliments, and I'm going to gracefully transition into my next point, saying that whenever you think of something sweet about somebody else, say it to them. Us humans have the tendency to give our best speeches during major celebrations like weddings, graduations, typically during new beginnings or even endings. We give the best flowers, the most beautiful flowers, and the most beautiful speeches at funerals as well. So, I guess what I'm saying with this tip is that don't let a beginning or an ending stop you from expressing how you feel in the in between. At funerals, we show our most vulnerable selves during our speech, a version of us that that person never got to see. You know, you're saying words that they never got to hear. You're giving them flowers that they never got to receive. And only then you remember which one was their favorite. Never wait. Tell that person how you're proud of them. Tell them about a time where they made you feel great, even though they might not even remember the story. Speak life into people. You might be their only reminder that there's still good stuff in this world to look forward to. Because most of the time, we don't remember what somebody did for us, but we will always remember how they made us feel. And at the end of the day, we are only as beautiful as the words that we speak. Gently moving on, embrace yourself. Most of the beautiful people that we are going to meet in our lifetime aren't going to be beautiful because of their looks. They're going to be beautiful because of the way that they carry themselves, the way that they speak, their energy, the way they treat others. When a person embraces themselves, when they own themselves entirely, even through their insecurities or the things about them that they may not like, it gives off a sense of self sufficiency and self acceptance that makes your shoulders drop. It makes you less tense because now you think, well, if she can accept herself for all that she is, even if she has expressed that she may not like parts of herself, what's stopping me from doing the same? It inspires you to want to accept yourself for your entirety as well. And so I think when you become the person to do it first, because I think that's sometimes what we're waiting for. We're waiting for somebody else to set the example, to test the waters for us, and then we join on in. So I think if you can be the person who takes one for the team, brava. And my next tip for becoming a more beautiful human being is develop depth. Never be afraid to learn about new things that interest you. I'm typically the type of person to be attracted to people who are well rounded and knowledgeable because they just have a conversation for everything. These people intrigue me, truly. I think to myself, how does so much information fit in your head? How do you know about literally everything? I used to know people like that, and I would tell them, you know what, I don't even need Google because I've got you. And I think that a big part of being a beautiful human being is having something to talk about, you know, being interesting, having that kind of charm to you. Read books. Oh my gosh, read, read, read. If I could recommend you two things, read and write, because not only does that make you more articulate, but it also expands your vocabulary. It allows you to express yourself in a way that is just intriguing to other people. Learn a new language. I have Duolingo on my phone and I have an ongoing streak for French. Okay? Develop new hobbies. Who knows? You might be a more hands on person than you may think. I'm not very crafty or very hands on. Those kinds of things kind of they stress me out, but I do like movement. I do like stretching and meditating, and lately, dancing. Okay, my love. So, the last thing that I have for you to become a more beautiful human being is discover your superpower. Now, this is actually something that I made up. I don't know. I was having a conversation with my younger sister about becoming somebody meaningful in somebody else's life or just in the world in general, and it's by discovering your superpower. And what do I mean by superpower? Well, I believe that our superpower comes from how we've always wanted to feel growing up. So, for example, if you've always wanted to feel important or seen growing up, and you've always valued that, then your superpower might be making other people feel important and seen. And the ways that you would use your superpowers are by listening to the person who always gets talked over, or remembering small details about somebody to let them know that you were listening to them, asking people questions about their emotional world or their inner world, taking interest in their hobbies. I believe that my superpower is making other people feel beautiful because I've always valued beauty growing up. So that's why in high school, I always let girls borrow my makeup and my compact mirror, or I'd fix up their hair in the bathroom. Words of affirmation is also one of my love languages, so I love to give compliments and just speak life into people. And it's why I want this career. And just like that, my darling, we have made it to the end of another video. I really hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you, because I most certainly did. I love topics like these. And I will happily see you in my next one. Bye bye.